So please take this session very seriously and the next sessions to come. And how you do a reference, this is also I'll train. So this is the entire PPT that we have made, and for you guys it is a good reference, because whenever you want to go for an interview, you need to have all these notes handy, and this is with all the written documents with everything. So when I talk about purchasing, it is OLME, but when you talk about the transition code of purchase groups, it is OME4. So without wasting even a minute, let's take a 15-minute break. Hello.
Yeah, yes, please. Go.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Anuj. Gotcha. Share my screen now. Uh, 1 second for that. A lot of tabs open. Oof. Okay, sure. So let's get back where we left. Okay, so I hope everyone is able to get what I'm going to tell you now. You guys are able to see me, right? And screen also.
Yes, Aman.
Okay, great. So we have the enterprise structure that is coming up. So in the enterprise structure, why do we need an enterprise structure? So let's say you have a organizational company, right? What's a company? Company means anything where people work to do what? To do achieve some goal. What is the goal? To sell the product, to make the company revenues, to make sure that the company works properly. They have HRs, right? Or the human resource management or the human capital management. You can tell it like that. Then to sell what? To sell the products. There's sales. To buy a product, there is purchasing. To uh, admin, for admin, there is operations guys. There is let's say plant maintenance guys to maintain the machineries. There is if it's a power generation company, there will be operations. Sorry, there would be boiler maintenance. There would be C&I control instruments. There would be TMD transport management also. TMD means the turbine maintenance division. You have different kinds of division. You have electrical divisions also. You have the capillary auxiliary divisions, and a lot of divisions would be there in a different organization. So when you talk about medical industry, same kind of industry would have different departments. In those, you will have somebody who's making medicine and somebody who's mixing the proportion. Checking would be there. Quality management would be there. A lot of people would be there. So in simple terms, if you put organizational structure in SAP MM, a company will be having its own entity. That entity will have the entire plants under it, aligned to it, and in a plant there would be company storage locations. Okay, so in a company there is a different company codes. It can be Delhi, it can be Mumbai, it can be anywhere in the India or outside of India also. So a company code, how it is defined, what it is there, we'll check it. But before that, you need to know, right, what kinds of relationship are there that are in buying and storing the material and managing them. So if you have to manage, how will you do? You'll do with the store location. If you want to buy them, you'll buy it on an organizational level. Is it a central purchasing or it's a normal purchasing? So all that kind of purchasing, dealing with the materials based on point of view, to manage, to store, and to buy a material, what kind of organizational structure you need, that is called an enterprise structure. So let me put it on a full view. So we have different components under the enterprise structure. The first component is a client. So client means what? Our customer, SAP customer, the person or the company, not person, the entity that is implementing SAP in its own premise and its own expense. Out of the pockets they pay the SAP companies to SAP service provider to implement the software called SAP to manage all the business operations. And not just the operational part, it will also manage all your IT reportings as well. So whatever goes in from the system goes out from the system, comes in the system. Everything will be managed on ERP, and it will be audited, checked by an external auditor based on your timeline for your audits. So for example, I need to do 3 months closure every 3 months, every quarter. There's a closure in the SAP Finance. Okay, so every 3 months there would be auditing guy that will make show that your balance books are matched, and then after every year there would be a auditor that would come and tell that, okay, these are your auditing books that are matching yearly also. So you need to project a yearly growth. Okay, so the main part that comes into defining the company code after a client, the second part is company code. The decision is taken by the finance and the HR guys. In a minute, I'll tell you why. So what is a what is a plant? Plant is the entity that represent the physical location of a enterprise where the operations happen. And in not just operations, it will be defining your store locations as well. And apart from store location, you'll have what? You'll have purchase organizations, how a purchasing happens, then the purchase groups also. So when I talk about the enterprise structure, this is the basic overview. So for example, you can take it as a Hinduja Group, or maybe you can take it as a Tata Steel or Tata Motors, any company you can pick. So let me give you example of Tata Motors. So in a car company or Toyota, it can be Toyota, it can be Chevrolet, it can be any company. You just name it, it will be done. So in a client, let's say Chevrolet is not a small company, right? It's in US, it's not just in India. If we talk about Tata, Tata is also in Southeast Asia. Uh, and if you talk about Tata, it's also in the African markets. A lot of Nigeria guys, a lot of I would say um, Middle Asia guys also are there. Central Asia guys also there that are using the Tata company's vehicles. So in that you will have an engine, right? Let's talk about the EV cars, or let's talk about the normal cars. You will have 5 6 features common. That is the body of the car, the chassis, the engine, the flywheels, the rotor shaft, the spare tire, the windshields, the dashboard, and in the dashboard you'll have steering wheel, you'll have the rod that steering wheel connects to the flywheel, and the front wheel. Plus you will have another set of gearbox, and in the gearbox you'll have a lever, you'll have all these materials, right? But what if one car in India is sold differently and the same car is sold different in Germany? What happens then? Assuming uh, Tata is a international brand, which it is, and it is selling the products in Germany. Or let's talk about Ferrari. Ferrari cars are sold in Germany for what? Maybe BMW. I have a friend in Germany. His name is Weber, and that guy is like buying. He bought a car last month. He showed me for a photos of a convertible BMW that costed him 16,000 euros, something like that. That in India would not make more than 24 lakhs. But when you talk about BMW, the starting range it's for a normal BMW. The model he showed me, it was for more than 1 CR in India. So how did that margin came into the picture? When we have the global currencies coming into the picture, how did this price happen? Because of a lot of taxes, a lot of manufacturing costs, a lot of companies put a hefty premium to make sure their models look premium in the market, right? Similarly, if I give you example of let's say a material that we are procuring in India for 100 rupees, but the same material in UK, it's for $10, or maybe not 10, $20, which is approximately 2,200 something rupees. Okay. Uh, so or 10 euro, 20 euros example, just for example, it is there. You do not need to take the real conversion factors. So what happens then? So why it is sourced differently? Why the price is different? All that will come into picture for you guys. So in that we have different valuations, but right now we're talking about company code. So let's say a company code is defined by two people. They will talk with each other and then they'll define a company code. A company code is defined on the factors of if the HR policy is same in this company or not. Let's say Tata Motors India will have a different HR policy than the German Tata Motors. Then because of this policy clash will define a different company code. It can be because of the calendar. There is a factory calendar setup in the company code. It can be because of that. There is a another thing called the factor that involves is the finance. In the finance there would be GLs. In Hindi we call it as bhai khata. Khata means account and GL means general ledger. So GL account, general ledger account, if it is different in two companies, then I will create it as a separate company code. So in short, different GLs, different nomenclature of GL, different company codes, right? Only one liner that you have to remember how we create, why we create. This is the basic definition. Then comes the plant. And also you have 6 digits in a company code. You can do any nomenclature that will work for you, but remember how many digits are there. It is not asked, it was used to ask like 5 or 6 years ago. But if you know how many digits are there in a company code, it's very well good for you. And this is not an interview question. This was an interview question 5, 6 years back. Okay, so what happens in a plant? Why a plant is useful for us? Because it's the entity, it's the defining factor where the operations, where the actual manufacturing process of the goods happen. So for example, my plant is in Delhi or it is in Bangalore. Okay, so Bangalore there is Tumkur industrial area, and then in Bangalore there is Siddhelli, right? When I talk about Bangalore, there is store location 2 in Timkuru industrial area. Other might be in Siddhelli. Then if I talk about Chennai, if I talk about Tamil Nadu, there would be Chennai. If I talk about Delhi, there would be Noida. Or Delhi NCR, there would be Noida. Right? Different locations, 3 different places. Similarly for Maharashtra, it can be for let's say if I talk about Germany, there would be somewhere in Germany there would be some location. Then if I talk about UK, there would be uh, London a location because it's the Manchester. In the Manchester, there would also be locations. So it depends on countries. Because of countries, if the policy change, there's a different company code. And if it doesn't, in the same country also, like Hinduja Group has different operations. Okay, it has the manufacturing of I would say let's say Hinduja Group is involved in cement industry, which it is. Then it is also involved in the chemical industry. So chemical industry separate company code. This is separate company code. Similarly, for other different company codes, accounting processes will define a different company code. Plant would be like where the operations happen and where we are going to make sure the manufacturing process is happening, where we are going to keep a record or the reporting of these store location defined under it, and how much inventory came, what is the purchase inventory, and how it is going to helpful for the other modules like SD and PM. In PM module, you will do a inventory validation check. Sorry, that check means like how much material do we have, and uh, if the material is correctly available for maintenance activity or not. And in sales, for selling a material, if the material is available or not. So we'll do the maintenance checks also. And in different company codes, what happens, how it is aligned is, it is the purchase organization, how it is aligned, and what is a purchase group. So as the name suggests, purchase organization, what is a purchase organization? A purchase organization is one which has the purchasing based on the organizational level. For example, for one particular company code or for two different company codes, I'm going to purchase the entire inventory via this organization. This will be responsible for every purchases happening under this. This is the main heading, and this is the subheading. And this purchase group can also resemble to store location, but also can also resemble to your actual people and actual divisions, operational divisions that are working. So for example, there's a purchase guy. A purchase department would be PD1, PD2, PD3, PD4, something like that. So each department would be responsible for 3 or 4 store locations, so that the inventory doesn't get to the below level of the minimum inventory unit. So there would be stock keeping units, and if the inventory gets below the minimum level, you will not be able to produce the material. In that case, a purchase group will always be there to make sure that the inventory is replenished on the time, and the materials are always there for the procurement and the production activities. Then these store locations, once it is done, you will get next what? You will get into a client. So the first topic that I explained what a client is like a separate space within the SAP system, and it is a business entity that is using the SAP software for its operation purposes, and the client is the unit that will help us to get the configurations, and for all its company codes, it will allow us to do all the configuration without interfering with each other. So let's say there are 3 or 4 companies, right? There's SYZ Corporation, and that is a company that uses SAP, and then there is a system ABC Corporation, and it is set up as a client. So it means that under ABC there is XYZ, and there would be uh, LMN, and these two would be operating separately. So it can be like that, and it can also be uh, so for example, like I was telling you, in the company code there would be 2 different company codes, and under one client they would act independently, but the SAP system would be for all the company codes. For one client, SAP system is there, and for all its in sub entities or subsidiary companies, SAP would be implemented based on plant and the store location. So this one, second, third, fourth view, you always have to understand and keep it in mind. The first question in the enterprise structure is, for the interview levels is, can you tell me the levels of enterprise structure? First come the client, they'll ask what the client is, they'll ask what the company code is, they'll ask what a plant is, then the store location. Then when you miss out a purchase organization, they'll ask what is the purchase organization, how it is defined. So you will tell it's on the company code, it's based on the plant based. But in case of central purchasing, we do a company specific purchasing, and then we also have purchase group. A purchase group is defined on the single purchasing that is being held by the division itself, right? So a client would be defined with a number called 100. There would be different 1 or 2 or 3 clients. It can be there is a single client, and in the client there would be different corporations, or there would be different company codes under it. So in that case, your one client is isolated from another client, which means SAP system is not shared. But anyone, like this is XYZ, and element would be our different company code, right? The vendor and the master data can be shared with that, but if it's a client, it cannot be shared between 2 clients. Client is the one that is paying for its own. If I'm putting a SAP system in Domino's, it cannot be shared with Burger King. Hello, Shrikant, I'm going to mute you. Okay, so if I'm purchasing the SAP system as a Domino's owner, I'll not be sharing the same system with Burger King, right? It's for from Rebel Foods. My is Jubilant Foods. So these are the 2 different organizations, right? So in that case, if I'm putting my own SAP system for everything in the Rebel Foods, from Fasos till uh, you have Bikagne and Biryani Blues, Behruz, all this will be there with what? It will be there under one separate client and multiple company codes. Whatever is happening in the SAP or ERP system, it will be under multiple company codes based on one single client's payment and configuration once it is done in the system. Okay, and the entity can customize its own SAP requirements with its own document types, numbers, processes, whatever they want. What is a company code? Like I said, client always comes first. Then there's a company code. Company code is the unit, like I told you about. It's used for financial accounting and all the legal independent activity in which the financial statements are generated. It is also incorporated about the financial reports. It is crucial for the financial transactions. Plus, If the HR activities are also there, whichever HR activity is there, like the company incorporation, from company incorporation till the HR policies are relevant, all this process is also done by the in the same company code. A policy is in the HR management module, or HRM, or if you call it HCM, all that is done in the separate company code. Similarly, finance is also done in a separate company code. Then when you talk about the simple explanation, it's like an organization, but it has if a company has subsidiary in different companies, then it is a company code. Like I told you in the in the first example, like in Germany, Tata Motors, it is a different company code. If it is in India, it's a different company code, so that the financial activities are tallied through. So there is an example about the in the UK. UK itself is made up of 3 or 4 countries, right? The different kingdoms that were annexed. If we talk about Ireland, Ireland is a country under the United Kingdom. So Ireland is the second largest in the GDP terms. But do you see, when you see the GDP, gross development index, gross domestic product index, why Ireland is not there in the number one? Ireland is a tax-free state. Okay, it's a tax-free country in which all the headquarters, you name any company, 99% of the companies are in the British Columbia or in Ireland, and now in Dubai also. So in why this shift was happening in Ireland? Because after 1950s famine, people started to leave. In 1970 or 1980, Ireland made a switch. They made a switch for industrialization or globalization, you can call it like that. Apple's headquarters, Facebook headquarters, everyone you have in the mind, any company headquarters is based in Ireland. The main headquarters, you call it as the operational headquarters, would be in different countries. That is a separate case. But why the main headquarters is the main headquarters, like they show in the papers, is in Ireland? Because of the simple reason called the finance. So finance is the basic of every company code definition. Ireland is a separate company code. US is a separate, India is a separate. Facebook India is different, US is different. Whatever revenue comes from Facebook India goes to Facebook India. It will not go to Facebook US. And the US is separate, the Ireland is separate, and they have a different calculation, right? So they work on the royalty basis from one company by issuing licenses, and they have a separate company policy. They also have less workers in Ireland as compared to US. The US staff is more, the Indian staff is more than the Ireland staff. Okay, but at the Ireland, like I was telling you, the GNP, it is measured in GNP. It's called gross net product. Okay, domestic, it's not there. Domestic means whatever is made and sold in India or in one specific country, that is going to be your GDP, right? So India on the GDP terms is doing very great. Um, and when you talk about the island and all that countries, it is a little less, but obviously they'll grow it out. So when you talk about the company codes, so I was telling you about the company codes, let's say Tata Motors, right? The company code, we can do it as IN1 or IN2 or IN3, anything. It can be IN0 also. It can be IN, simple. It is not mandatory to put it till 3. It is not mandatory to put it till 0. Okay, you cannot put 0. You need to put at least one character, and it cannot go for more than 3. So when you talk about the Belgium Tata Motors, the Belgium would be BE1, right? So anything that helps in managing the financial activities or financial transactions in the same country, that would be a separate company code. And under a company code, there would be different plans. Okay, and for different plans, what we'll do is we'll have the specific configuration for plans. So because we have reached out to the configuration, we'll go for the configuration into the system. Any doubts still here, if you guys have? Sheshu, Deepak, Chandrasekhar, Raghunath, Anuj. Where are the guys?
Oh man.
Okay. Okay. So we have learned about the client. We have learned about the company code. So remember this path. It comes from the SPRO, enterprise structure, definition, financial accounting, and then edit, copy, delete, check company code. Let me log in. Actually, there's a timeout activity also. So when you talk about timeout, what happens in a timeout is if you do not work till a little long, right? So let's say you are not working anymore here, system auto logs out. So in that case, you will see an error message, which I also saw while you guys were outside. So in that case, you will not be able to uh, get into the system without logging in. So you need to set up the password and then check. Okay. So this is the SPRO image, like I showed. So this is the enterprise structure. If you ever find any issues in anything, like Deepak, this is just for you, uh, and for others also, that you can also check. So I got a text like I am not able to define enterprise structure. So what does enterprise structure mean, right? Enterprise structure, in this section you will get this. It will always be there, right? You will be able to check why and what. And when you close this, if you go here, there would be definition, right? There would be financial accounting controlling, define company. So right now we checked what is a company, and we are going to do company code also. The company definition, since it's a financial accounting, this is a task of the FICO guy. But I'll tell you how a company is defined because it is my responsibility. Sometimes a FICO consultant will be like, okay, I can define, but it is taking delays, but you need to show it to a client. In that case, you can define a company. So how do you define a company? So like I went to a performance analyst. What is a performance analyst? It's a SAP documentation. This is called the SAP guided configuration. When you talk about SAP has the guidance of every document. For example, if you fail to analyze why this is there, why am I asked to maintain a company, and what does this define company mean? So in this step, I can define a company, which is an organizational unit for accounting, and I can meet the legal requirements of an enterprise in that specific region. And I can also define the company code with this is G and 4 times 0, right? Okay, so I can define all these entries here, and there would be tables for it. Different tables would be there, and we can define the company R with our details, and the chart of accounts would be operational for the same. What is chart of accounts? You will get that there's a thing called FS00. Okay, it's not okay. I cannot open it. Anyways, so how a fiscal year is there? What is chart of accounts? It's a part of finance. This is not my part, so I'll not tell you that. But you will also be uh, you can create a company, but make sure someone from the finance creates a company. So these are different companies. Let's say this is a Porsche company, right? You can click here and you can copy. You can, if you copy, all the details of Porsche will be copied. But since we are going to make a new entry, we'll make a new entry. It can be with anything. You can put a company with 6 digits. You can see 6 digits are there, right? Someone has already done the data, already done the configuration. So this system will be a little better for you to take reference how you need to determine all the company codes. So let's get into the new entries and quickly do it. I'll put my company as a LPHA1 alpha 1. So we'll put alpha company code, alpha CO company, alpha company, uh, India. Okay. Then we'll put, okay, let's put India below. This name too is not mandatory. Only company name is mandatory. I've just put Alpha Company India just for a reminder. We'll put the street as street. PO box postal code. Postal code would be 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. I don't know which postal code it is. City would be let's put Ranchi, Dhoni's favorite city or city where it belongs to. Region would be Jharkhand. There are different regions. The region would be defined on the company, like the particular state you belong to. So for example, Delhi would be, I think, 13, and some Uttar Pradesh would be 30, something like that was the case. Okay, we have country. Okay, we have country only. So region would be IN. I don't need to find a lot, but you guys can check again and then select region. The language key would be again English, and the currency I would be dealing with is INR. We can also do dollars, but in India, INR would be a little relevant for you, so we can work it out. This is the TR. Who remembers the TR? I think yesterday's session, Shishu wasn't there. Raghunath, Chandrasekhar, or yeah, Raghunath or Chandrasekhar, would you like to tell me how to make a TR? Guys, Raghunath,
Yeah, hello.
can you tell me how to make a TR?
Yeah,
Yeah, it is asking for a customizing request. I don't have a CR. I don't have a customizing request. How to make a TR now? Great. Anyone else who wants to tell me about how to make a TR? This is yesterday's session only, guys. Okay, great. This I'll tell you. I'll tell you from. But please be more attentive. I need your efforts also. So if I click on New tab, this is called Create Request. Everywhere you see this paper icon, it means create. This means display. The specs icon means display. This means create. This means tick. This means cancel. If I click here and I name the TR as I'll tell you the project code. For example, you're in an implementation project. So my implementation project code would be 8640 and dash to 1. This is not relevant to you guys. Just informing you, there's a specific format of a TR because we discussed TR yesterday. I'm going to show you the TR format. TR format is project code. Your project ID would be, this is my project ID and the project number 21. This would be colon, and then you would create a MM. MM means SAP MM. Then I would create another colon, or I can create a dash or underscore. This is MMTR for what? Company code. Okay, company code creation. I can put company code creation, or I can put company, or I can remove this and put enterprise structure. This would mean that this is my TR for my enterprise structure, ENTER, price structure. If I click on save, you can see the user, it is automatically getting created. Like I told you about the name of the system ID, then the K, system ID I made you saw, guys. System ID is A4H, then K, then the last ID starts from number 9, then 4 zeros, and then 1. So this is my TR ID. Please make sure you have a TR to save your details. If not, you can go and create one. These details are saved, right? The company code, we have the company code now. How to create a company code, how to check a company code. These are the company code basic details. I'm not going to read this out for you, but how we need to do, how we need to set up and assign the company code with the company, all that I'll do it right in front of you. Okay, so this is the company code. Let's get into the company code and check company code. First, I'll go and copy and check company code. Okay, this is organizational data. If I click on, okay, this is copy object. Okay, you can see it is logged by TR Yash. Data log by TR Yash. I cannot see it. Somebody has already logged it. Somebody is already practicing in the system. SM12. There's a T code called SM12. If I go and check, if I click on search, I can see how many tables he has logged, right? This is just a thing that the consultant will know for the log entries. If I click on delete, he will no longer be into the system. So I'll be able to make sure that my company code details, whatever I've chosen, it is getting displayed again. Okay, from company code, I need to select from company code to company code. The standard company code would be SAP. Somebody made SAP Limited. 1710 would be there. Okay. It's not working correctly, but anyways. Not sure why it is logged. Great. Okay. So instead of edit copy, you can just go to edit company code data. You will be able to make a new one. I'm not able to check any other old data, but let me get it back. So for example, this is not a correct company. 123 is not a correct company. The SAP Germany SAP SE would be there for the standard company code. This is a GTR Academy company code, which is already created in the system. GTR at the rate GTR 1234. This is a company code that is already created. If I double click on it, you can see what details are there, right? I can copy the same. If I click on copy, 1 second. If I click on copy here, it will help me create a different ID with a different company code. I'll do this XYZ. It will be done, right? So this is my company code that I can create, but I'll not copy. I'll create a new one. So for example, I'm creating alpha, right? So I'll create a new entry. I'll create a company code ALFA. Okay. And my company name would be, this is the name. No, this is not the name. Okay. ALPHA Alpha Company India. Then the city I chose as Ranchi. Country region India, then INR, then EN, English. If I click on enter, if I click on save, this will ask all the details, edit address, title is a company, name is Alpha. Okay, 1 second. I didn't make the correct changes. 1 second. The name is not correct. This is Alpha Company. COMPANY, India. Okay, if I click on save now, the dialog box will appear, and in that dialog box I need to fill all the basic details, and then it will let me through. So this is going to be our company code for the entire session. Okay, the data is already saved. If I click here, the address, which dialog box was already there, then I can check the details and then fill. Okay, so this is the dialog box that I didn't fill earlier. Now this is my ALPHA company. This is India, like I said. Source term, alpha. Housing number I don't need, region and all that I don't need. If I put postal code, city code, it is going to be mandatory. So I'm not going to put. Region is IN. The okay, country is IN. The region you can define as your own state. See, you'll have different numbers. 13 would be Maharashtra. Different regions would be there. If I put Jharkhand as 34, it will come in the region as 34. If I put city, Ranchi, all that will be there. If I put city, postal code, that would be some different postal code. You can select the English language for communication, or you can put any email. Let's say if you want to put an email, phone number, all that will be there. All these details can be fetched into the printout, and this can be done with a single click. If I click on save, this will be saved. And if I click on back, it will go back. Okay, that's it. That's how you create a company code. Okay, then we have our logistics in the where we'll have the plant, we'll have the valuation, we'll have the locations. We can check, copy, and delete a plant. So all this will be done. And if I click on other locations. In the finance, there would be profit center, which is also not our part. Company code is also not our part. Company creation is also not our part. But I've told you because you need to know. You need to know why, because we need everyone to get a hands on the basic, at least the basics, and how we maintain a purchase organization. What does a purchase organization look like? So all that will be in the metals management, metals management in the enterprise structure. So right now I'm showing you logistics and the metals management. Let's get back to our PPT. So we have defined a company code called alpha. Okay. So the table would be T001. If I can show you the tables, let me just take 1 second. This T code was SM12. You can see right here. I'll go for the table selection. Tables are in the SAP, which stores the data in a database. So if I click on SE16N, SE16N is the T code for table. So the table of our alpha plant, or sorry, our alpha company code would be in the T001 table. To check for the plants, it's going to be T001W, plants and branches. So if I want T001, that would be my company code. My company code was ALFA. If I click here and execute, it will say Alpha Company, Company India, Ranchi, English, address is also there. This address we can check. This is just an address code. It is called ADR number. ADDR number. You can you'll get this a lot of times in the address. You'll remember my name when you work on reporting a lot. With this box, you can only see the relevant fields. This is address. You can put it into ADR6 table to get the address details. But let's not get into tables. It is very complex. When you go for the reporting, you need to build logic. Logic is only dependent on how much you practice on the system. So let's work on alpha. Alpha you have done, right? The company is created. It is already in the system, and we are one step ahead from where we were the last time. So I'll take for 20 more minutes. We'll create the plant. Let me get you from the basics. So any issues in the company code creation, I want to ask Deepak especially. Deepak ji, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Anyone else? Chandrasekhar, Anuj, Raghunath, Sheshu? Sheshu, you are one of the guys that I have my eyes on. You are not speaking a lot.
No, sir.
Actually, Aman, I'm just understanding because as you mentioned, this is important to know as we don't do this, but this is important for us to be aware.
Sheshu, you will only do it for next session, or you can take my time. You guys can take my time. Okay. Anywhere, any day, on the weekdays also. Please take my time. I insist you in taking my time. Book 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. Help me with making sure that you know.
Oh,
My entire responsibility here is I want everyone present today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, till the last session to get placed. That is my responsibility.
noted.
And I want you to get trained as much as I knew when I had 3 years of experience. Okay. This is not going to be one, this is not going to be two, it's going to be three. In 3 years of experience, you will know the basic details and how you have to work. Why I'm giving example of every component. I do not know all the industries, but I know how a machine works. And the same in the other industry will also be the application use. Okay. So when you talk about company code, it is the very basic. You do not need to know, but since it's in the financial accounting node, it is not your part. But all of you have to configure someday or the other to show it to the client. You cannot say, sir, I don't know, let me ask my mentor. Array, this is not the way. So why I'm training, whatever I'm teaching you, everything is your purpose. But there are basis T codes, there are other T codes. If I talk about SE93, right, or SE83 or SE81 or SE80, these are ABAP T codes. It is not my work to know. But the difference between a better consultant and a good consultant is the one who is good knows how to Google. The one who's better has already worked on Google, has already done a lot of stuff, already knows cross modules. So when you know cross modules, the impact gets different on the client. There were phases in my project when the finance consultant didn't knew their work, right? I made an email stating my manager that his work is impacting mine. Because of him, I'm not able to work properly. And the monthly closure are not getting done properly. There are activities I'll tell you about when you get into the support phase. I'll tell you about the monthly closure activities that are on the part of materials management and finance. Finance has to close the monthly account. They have to match. We have to match our inventory. They
Yeah,
have to match our
reconciliation.
reconciliation activities. Correct. But reconciliation also happens quarterly, monthly, and yearly. But we recommend monthly, and there is a period opening also. So when you talk about the support phase, there are different liabilities on a consultant, and there are different liabilities on a finance guys. And all these liabilities, whatever I'm telling you about, this course is specifically designed by me. You will not find the entire material anywhere on the internet also. So when you talk about the company codes, the company codes is also the part of consultant. Once you get to the level of, like, you already have experience issue, but others might not. Somebody is from sales, somebody is from a different background. One guy I know is from merchant navy, right? So there are different people from different backgrounds of different walks of life. I want everyone to grow together and make sure you get enough from me. Okay, that you have to digest. I'll
Right.
give you more knowledge that you actually have to get for placement. Okay, so this company code thing, it's not something that you have to skip out. You have to do it. Imagine if I tell you about fiscal years, you will get confused. There are not 12 months. There are 16 months in SAP, and you will be like, oh, in my calendar there are only 12 months. You'll get confused if I go about FI. I'm not telling you about a lot of details about FI, MM, and integration modules. That's it. Okay, coming back, no doubts. So let's get to plant. We only have 10-20 minutes more left. I'll not take more than 2 hours. You guys will get bored and I will not like me anymore. I guess that. So in plant, we have a physical location of a company where a material is produced or stored. Okay, it can be a factory warehouse. Like you can see the dialog box. I hope so. The connection is it says that it is not there. If I don't use my system, the connection will log out. Okay, so when you talk about a plant or a store location is where a company would be there, and in that company there would be specific sites or specific locations where a plant or a warehouse is stored. So, for example, in a bicycle manufacturing company, there would be a main company and there would be a manufacturing house in which the bicycles are stored as a finished product. And 001, the T code is OX10. And the definition is logistic general, define, copy, delete, and check plant. So we'll copy or we can create a plant. So I'll create a plant and we'll define the enterprise structure for you as a plant. The next is going to be a store location. Store location is where you have the particular sheds. It can be sheds for raw material storage for finished product. If I talk about Amul, the Amul project is with TCS. You have Ananda Milk. If you're from South, you'll understand Ananda Milk. If you're from North, Amul is the go-to example. Or maybe you have Nandi Milk in the South also, when you talk about Bangalore or that Karnataka region. So I've traveled in our Karnataka, I've traveled to MP, I've traveled to uh, parts of UP, mostly all of them. Himachal, I've not visited Kashmir or Chennai or Kanyakumari, all that region, but anyways, that is also. So I do know the local brands. So when you talk about the food industry, specifically the milk industry, in the milk industry, the item is called as perishable. When you rotate your milk packet, go and buy a 16 rupees or 10 rupees toned or premium toned milk packet to make a tea or to make a coffee if you like it. So in that you will have a detail called the price and then the batch and then the date, manufacturing and use by. So that manufacturing date is for the batch, like Shishu told us. The use by date, it's for the material that is perishable. Perishable means when it is manufactured, you have to consume within 6 to 7 days of that span. So once a milk is pasteurized, pasteurization means you boil it and you cool it to a temperature that all the bacteria gets killed, which is a homemade pasteurization method for every one of you.
Yeah,
Whatever
rapid
milk,
heating and rapid cooling.
yeah, what?
Yeah, pasteurization is like rapid heating.
Rapid heating and rapid cooling. Yes,
Yeah,
that is what I told. So all the bacteria get killed, but that milk has a shelf life. So when you call a shelf life is how much how much days it will be valid for. It is valid for 2 days or 3 days or 7 days, not more than that. So to make it more, to make the shelf life more, people miss milk like urea or maybe detergents or something like that, but that is harmful for you. But companies like Amul or maybe Namaste India or maybe this Nandi milk or all that will Anandi milk or whatever. These companies will not milk that, make mix that with the milk. So when you have perishable goods or you have ghee or paneer, something like that, that will get rotten because of the heat or the humid temperature that India has. It's called perishables.